Welcome to the Bryan Insights Extraordinary Organization video series. In this video, we identify the data HR really needs to transform from people operations to people strategy, and that's the next wave of HR transformation, and it's here. I'm Dr. Tomi White Bryan. It's my privilege to be with you. I'm the creator of the Emotional Intelligence 3.0 body of work, a system for achieving extraordinary performance. It includes blueprints, models, assessments, and guides filled with activities that free the extraordinary within for individuals, teams, leaders, and organizations. As for the data HR really needs, I'm going to give you my best lawyer answer. It depends. The question that drives that answer is, what are you really trying to accomplish? Because if you don't understand the thread that's being woven through the organization, that's pulling everybody and everything towards the same bullseye, or there isn't one, it might explain why the data isn't giving you what you need. I'll talk about that bullseye in a moment. First, who will get the most out of this video? Before we jump into who these videos are for, letting you know I'm going to cut my camera off so we can focus on the slides instead of my really bad video editing skills. So these videos are for HR professionals who are genuinely interested in transforming HR from people operations to people strategy. You want to be the architect of an extraordinary culture, and you have the authority and the budget to make it happen. If you don't have that third one, then all of this is probably a wish for you. Now, you can't phone in extraordinary, or as the unfiltered Tommy likes to say, you can't half-ass extraordinary. You need the map, the blueprints, the expertise, the right guide, and the right tools. At Bryan Insights, we've got those for you. Now let's talk about the what and the why of the data. So what are we trying to do? The focus of this video is how to quickly and confidently diagnose what's really undermining extraordinary organizational performance by collecting meaningful data. Now, why should we even do that? Because we have a data crisis. Did you ever eat the candy Good and Plenty? Well, we have plenty of data. It's just not always good. In the age of data, there's no reason to accept deficient information about your people. Yet the statistics are stunning. 71% of HR professionals don't trust their people data. 84% of CEOs are concerned about the integrity of their decision-making data. 85% of executives believe they'd make better decisions with real-time data. But why me? Why should I be your guide for this territory? Because of childhood experiences that left me feeling less than, I spent most of my adult life searching for the keys to unlock extraordinary performance. I call that my 20 years in the desert looking for answers, specifically the map of extraordinary performance. What I learned along the way is captured in the Emotional Intelligence 3.0 body of work. A key moment came when I was trying to help my 14-year-old son play better tennis. I'd read a boatload of books on peak performance, mental toughness, and the power of story. I looked at books on flow. I wanted to understand, how do I get into that state where everything is magical and perfect and I'm performing at my highest level? I was reflecting on all that I'd accomplished, trying to understand extraordinary performance. Those accomplishments included returning to school for a PhD in leadership and organizational change, even though I already had a law degree from Wake Forest University. I read lots of books. I wrote 6 of them. I attended lots of workshops and got lots of certifications, including the bullseye change management certification. I did crazy things to understand extraordinary, like becoming a certified firewalk instructor, all in the name of tapping into my potential. And that's when the big idea hit me. If I could just see what interferes with my performance, whatever was holding me back, I could help myself, my son, others, teams, and organizations achieve extraordinary performance. And wouldn't that be magical? And that's when I saw the performance formula in my head. It says performance equals potential minus interference. Performance is our current level of proficiency in the system. Potential is what we're capable of. And interference, it represents those systemic forces that constrain human behavior and potential. And they can be visible or invisible. Those invisible ones can be pretty insidious, by the way. To see the invisible, we have to understand the structure of the ecosystem we are in, because the dynamics of the ecosystem create the hidden forces that can either hold us back, keep us in place, or speed us through the level we are in to the next one. Once I understood that interference operates through hidden dynamics, and I was able to map the structure of the different systems I performed in, my performance accelerated drastically. Armed with these insights, I became the director of global talent development at Contour Brands, the holding company for Lee and Wrangler jeans, as they spun off from VF Corp, a Fortune 500 company. Boy, I was ready to test those theories. At Contour, my team and I accomplished what seemed impossible in just 18 months. We rolled out a global core curriculum in multiple languages across diverse environments. We designed and launched a 5-year performance management strategy, built comprehensive organizational toolkits, created global dashboards that brought unprecedented transparency to HR teams and managers. We trained over 2,400 employees on core values, and we coached senior leaders while orchestrating an entire festival of learning. Naming the system, its structure, and the hidden dynamics that keep us locked in place and engaging them differently led to accelerated performance. But that wasn't enough. I really wanted to understand every facet of extraordinary performance. When I left Contour, I embarked on a 5-year deep dive into organizational performance, conducting multiple research studies to answer one burning question: what's the best structure for driving extraordinary performance in organizations? From this research emerged a game-changing bullseye: the performance-led, values-based culture of trust. This framework became my compass for helping individuals, teams, senior leaders, and organizations just like yours see the hidden dynamics that prevent extraordinary performance from occurring. The invisible enemy, it was never an external competitor. It was the outdated maps, bureaucratic silos, and hidden interference patterns we couldn't see until now. That led me to start doing this. I became an HR transformation guide, facilitating the shift from a cost center to a profit center for HR by shaping their strategic people architecture for extraordinary outcomes using data that matters. When I do that, here's what happens for you as a cultural architect. You gain clarity on what's blocking extraordinary performance, so you can confidently build extraordinary organizations without the usual guesswork, pushback, failed initiatives, and the hits that result from that in lack of credibility. So let's talk about the key to doing this. The key to quickly and confidently diagnosing what's really undermining org performance is having a strategic bullseye. That is the thread that weaves all organizational choices together. If your strategic bullseye is this, the purpose-led, values-based culture of trust, I have great news. And I'll share that news in a minute. But first, if you're not using that as your strategic bullseye, I have only one question to ask. What are you waiting for? That type of organizational structure outperforms its peers repeatedly. Let me show you what I mean. An analysis of the 100 best workplaces reveals that their cultures of trust experience 8.5 times greater revenue per employee. Purpose-led organizations grow revenues 4 times faster than peers and have stronger talent attraction and retention numbers. Values-driven organizations see greater employee well-being and customer satisfaction. Using the purpose-led values-based culture of trust as your bullseye is the strategic thread that leads to extraordinary organizational performance. And if you aren't seeing these types of return on investment and your organization says it's purpose-led values-based culture of trust, you likely don't have the pillars right. And what do I mean by pillars? The pillars are the part of the blueprint that emerged from decades of field work and 5 years of rigorous scientific research. I call the blueprint the Trust-Based System of Extraordinary Performance, or TSEP for short. You can use this blueprint to plot your course to the purpose-led, values-based culture of trust. It tells you the data that matters. You can see on the outside circle, we've got strategic and people frameworks. That's about the maturity of these frameworks. That's development and adoption. And then as we move into the circle, we see we've got leadership, communication, collaboration, employee well-being statistics, and that's on engagement and stress, innovation and adaptability, trust, and then the bullseye of the culture in the center. These are the 9 vital signs of organizational performance. And if you aren't measuring them, you don't have a clear picture of organizational performance and where the high change leverage point is. That's the one where a small amount of energy generates a big shift. These are the factors you collect data on because they tell you how close or how far away you are from the bullseye in the center. What's fascinating is these factors develop along a continuum. And when I stacked these continuums atop each other, something amazing emerged. All the factors cluster together at a certain level of maturity to form 5 organizational performance profiles: turbulent, stabilizing, functional, high-performing, and extraordinary. We plug these in the performance formula so we know where we are and where we want to go. For instance, if your current performance is stabilizing, you know that your potential is extraordinary, and you have to figure out what are the steps, what are the action items, what are the HR transformation initiatives that will take you to the next level. And the interesting thing is, it's challenging to skip a step because each profile relies on the one below it developmentally. That means you can't just go from stabilizing to extraordinary. You have to build functional, and then you have to build high performing, and then you can get to extraordinary, because what's happening in functional is required to move from stabilizing to high performing. Once you have the data on these factors, they reveal to you the next best steps, because what we're looking at with that blueprint is the structure of extraordinary performance. And I use a car metaphor to help explain. Level 1 is the engine of strategic and people frameworks. It's the power source that drives trust, purpose, and values. Level 2 is the transmission, and it consists of your leadership, collaboration, and communication systems. These are the levers you can pull to improve performance. And with level 1, those are the frameworks that you can reconstruct to rebuild your engine. Level 3 is the performance of the car through well-being, innovation, and adaptability, along with trust. These are the signals of the performance ecosystem and reveal proficiency. Level 4 is the driving experience of the overall cultural reality. It's what everyone actually experiences and feels inside and outside the organization. Most organizations pull levers 3 and 4 when that isn't going to affect long-term change. That's like changing the battery when your tires need to be replaced. It's still going to be a rough ride. To change levels 3 and 4, HR transformations must focus on levels 1 and 2 to affect long-term transformation. I see this all the time with employee engagement and stress interventions. Those types of interventions usually focus on improving employee morale or something along those lines. But the invisible interference of the structure, when revealed, will let you see it's a level 1, a level 2, or a level 1 and level 2 challenge. You can get multiple different assessments to measure these numbers and cobble that data together, which is not optimal. In fact, it's a pitfall I discussed in a previous video on the 7 pitfalls of HR transformation. Now, you can spend a lot of time doing that, or you can use our Bryan Insights ROI 360, which does it for you. At its center is our science-backed cultural dynamics inventory that can be deployed to the organization to collect this data for you. And you know what makes it even more extraordinary? It includes an all-in-one dashboard that shows the data in real time as it's collected via completed employee assessments. You can clearly see each level and the vital signs of organizational performance in that level, and which one at level 1 and level 2 is the best pull to move the organization toward extraordinary performance and reduce the noise of that vital sign. I like to say information is great, but it doesn't mean anything if you don't know how to take action on it. That's why I like to end with what's next. As we've reached the last segment of the video, I've flipped my camera back on so I can wave goodbye when the moment comes. So what's next? How do you take action on what you've learned today? Well, first, you can set up a clarity call with me. There's no strings attached. It's just us brainstorming the data you're collecting. What blueprint are you using? How can you enhance that? Are there other options available for you? You can also take the Power Style Inventory for free, where you learn about the vital sign of collaboration. Now, what we've done with this assessment is we've pulled out just that little factor, that slice of the pie from the TCEP of collaboration, and the Power Style Inventory reveals to you the hidden dynamics that are keeping you possibly from your greatest collaborations. You can learn about the Bryan Insights ROI 360 product. The links for all of these things are in the comments. I hope you'll take us up on one of those. To summarize what we've learned in this video, let's talk about the essentials. First, there's the strategic bullseye. You should have one. And the second thing about that strategic bullseye is if you're going to have one, it should be the purpose-led, values-based culture of trust, because it reveals to you exactly what data to collect and how to use it for more successful transformation in the organization. That wraps up this video. My wish for you is that you find the extraordinary within. It's already there, just waiting for the right structure to unleash it. Until next time, take care, my friend.